Yeah, man, I think just to keep my head down and be humble, man. I think, don't let the outside noise, affect me or what I got going on. And, yeah, man, focus on me and, who I love.
So like having all those Long Beach, all those LA, guys you played against in high school, now you're teammates.
Yeah, it's been great, man. It's crazy to see the journey that, a lot of us have been on. Just growing up as kids and going through high school together, playing with them in 7-on-7 tournaments. And then, to see where we're at now, a lot of us made it out. So, I'm very excited to play with them again and put on that UCLA uniform.
Nico, obviously.
Speculation, after you left Tennessee about that whole situation. What was that like for you with all the rumors flying around and, you didn't come out publicly? I mean, can you walk us through that week and, then the week when you decided to come to UCLA? What was that like for you behind the scenes?
Yeah, for me, it was a lot, it was a tough situation to be in. At the end of the day, I did what was best for me and, that was getting back, home to my family and closer to my family while still competing at the highest level. And yeah, man, it was a crazy week, but yeah, man, I'm only focused on my future now, and I'm excited to be a part of UCLA.
Nico, coming into the season, how do you try and block out a lot of the outside noise because it was such a dramatic situation, a quick change from Tennessee to UCLA with the season right around the corner? How do you stay focused personally on what's ahead?
Yeah, I think that just starts from within, man. I got a great support system with my family. My parents do a great job at supporting me, and yeah, man, I think that just the whole football team and the whole coaching staff have done a great job just welcoming me and making me feel comfortable to be a part of UCLA. And yeah, man, I can't wait for the season, man. It's almost around the corner, and yeah, man.
How do you build synergy with your teammates? How do you build synergy with your teammates going into the season?
Yeah, I think just strengthening our relationships, off the field, on the field. I think just doing more stuff with them, that you wouldn't normally do with teammates. I think taking them boys out to eat, taking them boys to go bowl, anything like that, just to strengthen our bond. And we got fall camp coming around the corner, so it'll be good, for a lot of guys that that we don't know each other well, for us to bond well in the hotel. And yeah, man, get ready for the season.
Just want to get your thoughts on obviously week 2 for you guys against UNLV playing here in Las Vegas. Thoughts on Dan Mullen, UNLV?
Yeah, UNLV, man, that'll be another good test for us. I've never played in Las Vegas, so it'll be a cool experience for me. Yeah, man, I can't wait. I think every game on the schedule is a big one for us, and we're excited to go prove ourselves.
Nico, 2-part here. Last year didn't go great in Columbus for you. What was a lesson maybe that you learned from that night? You guys are going back there at the end of the season. What's something that maybe you're looking forward to when you go back to play last year?
Yeah, I think last year, what I took from the game is, not to let anything that happens in the game, sway how we're thinking about the game. I think we let that first half affect our team and how we performed in the second half. But yeah, I think just keeping our composure and going into big games like that and responding well was the main thing I took from that. Going into the game, man, I'm excited to catch those boys again, man. It'll be a big test for me. I know they want to, beat me pretty bad again, like they did the first time. So, I'm gonna try and hold my own, man. I'm excited, with the guys I'm gonna go to war with, and yeah, man, we're building something special.
How challenging was the cold of that game? It was like in the 20s.
Yeah, it was like, they said it was like 11 degrees, felt like 4, man, and it was pretty cold, man. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't feel my hands on in pregame warm up. Like it was hard to warm up, but once I got the adrenaline flowing, I thought I did a good job at just getting acclimated with the game.
What was like the helmets pregame too? Was it cracked?
Yeah, man. I took some shots, man. I cracked 2 helmets in the game. 2 of the my Vices helmets, and I had to switch to my 3rd one, and it was a hard, tough game, man. I think the weather played a lot of effect in that, just it being so cold, and yeah, man, it was a fun game though.
What did that game kind of tell you about what Big Ten football is like?
Man, I've always watched Big Ten football, and I've always thought that they've had the best players in the country play in the Big Ten and the SEC. So, you know, it wasn't really, you know, what it told me about the Big Ten. I knew we were going against a tough opponent, and that, you know, we didn't show up how we should have. So, you know, I took that L to the chin, and you know, I'm excited for this year.
Coming in from the SEC and now the Big Ten, kind of what is your perception of kind of how these two conferences compare to each other?
Yeah, it's two great conferences that, you know, have their own traditions. You know, I'd say the SEC got, you know, some crazy fans in the SEC. You know, they really bring it every game. So, you know, you really feel the environments in away games and in home games. So, I think, you know, I'm not too familiar with the Big Ten and how the games are played, but, you know, this year I'm excited, you know, for that challenge. And, you know, I know they have a lot of great players in the league, and, you know, I'm excited to go compete against them.
Sorry, talk about your offensive expectations going from Coach Heupel's system to Coach Sincere.
Yeah, really, you know, there's no expectation. The expectation is for me to be better. I got to get better with Coach Tino, and you know, we had a great offense at Tennessee. I think, you know, just the difference is with Tennessee being, you know, wide splits. I think you know, Coach Tino brings a, you know, more post style, you know, condensed splits offense, you know, that I'm comfortable with. And yeah, man, I'm excited to play for Coach Tino.
What were your first impressions of him?
Say it again.
What were your first impressions of him?
My first impressions of Coach Tino were, you know, he's a high energy guy, man. He brings a lot of high energy, and man, I wanted to go play for him. You know, the first day I met him, you know, I felt that comfortable, and you know, he just has that certain presence to him that, you know, makes you want to go play for him.
One of the things that was written when you left Tennessee was that there were some concerns about the offensive line. How accurate was that, and what's been kind of your early assessment of UCLA's offense?
Say that again?
One of the things that was written when you left Tennessee was that the family had concerns about the offensive line in Tennessee. Was that accurate? And then, you know,
yeah, I'm not too sure, you know, where that was from. You know, I love my O-line last year. Had a great O-line. Lance Hurd, Cooper Mays, you know, John Campbell, Straggins, and Andre. You know, I loved all those guys, and you know, they was a great O-line.
What's your early assessment of your new line at UCLA and those guys like Garrett?
Yeah, man, I love the O-line, man. You know, they had my back since I got in day one. And you know, just them being very accepting of me when I first got there and just welcoming me, I felt good with them. So.
And Garrett took you bowling? Did you?
Yeah. Me and Garrett and the whole line, the whole QB room went out to go bowl and just had a good time. Ate some pizza, had a few, you know, lemonade, Sprites, and you know, we just had a good time. So.
When exactly did you make the decision to leave Tennessee? What was your communication with Josh Heupel when that was going on?
My time to leave Tennessee was around the time that, you know, I think probably the reports came out, you know, just false reports that, you know, made me not feel comfortable in the position I was in. But, you know, in the back of my head, I always wanted to come back home and, you know, be closer to my mom, be closer to my dad, and, you know, just have my family, you know, their support, you know, at our games. And, you know, in our Samoan culture, I think, you know, we're always together, and I think that was the main thing for me, the driving factor for me to come back home. Say it again?
What false reports?
Just false stuff about, you know, whether it was a financial thing or not. You know, my driving factor to come back home was my family, and you know, I hope every, you know, Tennessee fan understands that, you know, that it was you know, really one of the hardest decisions that I ever had to make. But you know, I had to do what was best for me and my family, and you know, ultimately, I wanted to come back home and be closer to my family.
Do you wish that had happened maybe before spring so that you didn't have to go through all that? Maybe.
Yeah, definitely, man. You know, it's just a lot of drama. But man, I'm excited to be at UCLA.
Nico, what's one or two things that you've been working on the most since last year that you're sort of most excited to showcase in games this year and how your game has evolved?
I think just the cerebral side of football, man. You know, quarterback is it's a tough position to play, and I think just me getting you know, not the physical aspect down, you know, I think I have that down. I think just the mental side of the game. You know, I'd say probably 90% of playing the position is really your brain. So I think Coach Tino has just, you know, taught me how to use it, and has put me in great positions to, you know, go out there and be successful.
Nico, did you think that your decision to end up at UCLA would prompt Joey to leave, and what do you think of him kind of ending up back where you were?
No, I don't think so. You know, my mindset was going in to, you know, compete with whoever was in there. for the starting spot. And I don't think my decision coming to UCLA altered his decision to go to Tennessee. But I wish him nothing but the best. I know he's going to get the best fans over there. He's going to have a great fan base, and hopefully he gets to experience all the positive things that I experienced there.
Coach Foster mentioned that in that Ohio State game, he was impressed with the toughness you showed in that game. How much for you is toughness something you pride yourself in?
Yeah, man. Toughness it just comes with not wanting to quit, man. I think I always want to win. I hate losing. Losing is just kind of makes it's not in me. I don't know. I hate to lose. So I think when I'm trying to go out there and win a game, whether that's however many hits I take, I'm gonna do anything it takes to go out there and try and get a win.
Saying that, obviously, UCLA has had its share of struggles over the years. How much do you kind of view that as a challenge to make it so they don't lose as many games?
A great challenge, man. I think everybody in the locker room has a chip on their shoulder, and our coaches have a great expectation for us to meet. And yeah, man, we're gonna go out there and prove ourselves right, man. That we're gonna go out there and be a successful team and have a great year.
Nico, what's one thing that's maybe surprised you since coming to UCLA about the campus, or the alumni, or the football program?
Yeah, I would say the how much alumni come back to the school. I think I've seen a lot of guys work out, and just NFL pros in general. We got guys like DK Metcalf that works out there a lot. I see him every morning, and it just feels good to see a lot of pros around the building.
How did Coach Foster help you manage that, like a lot of scrutiny and hype you were getting when you were moving over to UCLA? What was he telling you during that time?
I think Coach Foster has went through what I'm going through now, just being a college athlete and trying to make it to that next level. So he knows all the ins and outs of what reporters write and how it can affect the player. So I think just his experience alone, just me taking that from him and handling situations well.
How are you approaching this season in terms of your NFL future? Like, if you have the season you want and the season UCLA wants, you might be ready to move on, or how are you kind of looking at that?
Yeah, man. This is a year where I'm really trying to get out after. So, I'm going to give my all to UCLA, and if I have the year I want, I want to get out.
You played in flag football tournaments out here in Las Vegas. Can you talk about your excitement to play at Allegiant Stadium?
You said flag football?
Flag football.
I played in a few 7-on-7 tournaments. I haven't played in that stadium yet, but I played in Vegas in general, and yeah, man, it's been great. I hope to see UNLV. I get a good experience in that stadium. But yeah, man, I'm excited to play in the Raiders Stadium.
Your teammate mentioned how respectful it is, how humble you are. Where does that humbleness come from?
It just comes from my parents, man. They raised me to who I am today. My mom played a big role into that, and obviously my dad. So just having two of my parents in my household, I was very blessed and fortunate to have, and they raised me to who I am today.
Nico, at the time hearing it, how did you feel hearing that Dan Lanning may have called Tennessee to let them know that there was some contact out there?
Yeah, man. I don't know where all that comes from. I'm hearing it from you guys, just like you guys are hearing it. So. Yeah, man, with all that situations, I kind of just focus on football and, let my business side of the team handle those.
Do you have any animosity there?
Oh, no animosity, man. I knew Dan Lanning when he was recruiting me at Oregon. And, I have nothing but respect for Coach Dan Lanning. And, whatever, he speaks on the situation, I really don't pay no mind to it.
Nico, how does Coach Foster's offensive scheme fit your challenge?
Yeah, man, I feel like I'm back in high school, man. Just with the concepts that we're running right now, and just me being more comfortable in this post-style offense. I'm not gonna say post-style. I'm gonna say everything offense, because Coach Tino brings a lot to the table. So yeah, man, I think it just fits my game and everything I have going on.
What's it been like with your new teammates?
It's been great, man. Just learning everybody, man. A lot of new guys I've met. And yeah, man, I've been, continuing to lead on the vets, to help me be comfortable with all the other guys. So it's been a great experience, man. Like I said, fall camp will be another great way for us to bond and, strengthen our relationships.
Nico, what advice would you give young guys regarding about the dangers of
Yeah, NIL, man. Like I said, I don't really, focus on NIL. I focus on ball and school. I let my parents and my business side of the team handle that. But yeah, man, I think for guys just going in the transfer portal, I hope they find the right place for them and the right fit for them.
Nico, is there a particular wide receiver that you sort of developed in a special rapport with?
Yeah, all the receiver room, man. We've been getting a lot of work in. So the whole receiver room, man. I think a lot of sparks in there that we're excited to see this fall camp. But yeah, man, there's definitely a couple guys that are out there that I'm excited to work with.
Have you completely tuned out social media since all this kind of started, or do you check it once in a while?
No, I'm never on social media like that anyways. I'm a big YouTube guy, so YouTube and yeah, man, I've never really been on social media like that anyway, so it wasn't hard for me to tune stuff out. Yeah, man, my dad, man. My dad has a lot to do with that. My mom too. I think I got both of their personalities kind of like 50-50. So, and then just with mentors, man, the guys that play the position. I think my whole 3D QB family. Guys like my guy Taylor Kelly. He trains a lot of the top guys in the league. So just him being a mentor for me, and then Jaden Daniels has been another one that I've looked up to since a young pup. I've trained with him for a while now, and guys like Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, those three are the main guys. I haven't got a chance to be around Tua, but I love to get around Tua to pick his brain too.
When all of the kind of allegations and all these things come around and you get overwhelming, what do you do to kind of like calm your nerves and your mind and just like, is it a hobby? Is it talking to someone? What is it?
Yeah, really, I was playing a lot of video games, man. I was playing a lot of video games with my friends and my cousins, man, and really paid no mind to it. I had no, sometimes I had no idea my cousins would come and tell me about stuff they seen, and I don't care. So I think a lot of that just comes with protecting your peace.
What are your favorite video games?
I've been playing a lot of 2K, NBA 2K25, UFC. Got to get back on NCAA and Madden a little bit. I took a little break from that, but yeah, those are the main games. Marvel Rivals too.
Ryan Day said yesterday that he was talking about 7-on-7. How it's not even close to real football, and he wishes he could get these quarterbacks some more live bullets.
Yeah.
It seems like at the grassroots level, there's more emphasis on 7-on-7 as kids come up. How do you think that's affecting quarterback development?
I think it's great for young quarterbacks. Definitely, 7-on-7 is great for young quarterbacks to just develop how they read defenses in certain instances. And then when you get in the live ball, obviously you got the D-line rushing you. I think it's just it's the same thing as you look at it during 7-on-7. You just got to calm your nerves when guys are trying to take your head off. So I think that's the only difference between 7-on-7 and 11-on.
How much are you going to have to kind of accelerate the process with your teammates in August when Lanning gets start really playing with 11?
Yeah, man, it's been accelerated since I got there, man. I knew I was behind, and I knew I needed to get in that playbook and get with the guys and build rapport. So, yeah, man, we've been working this whole summer, and yeah, man, y'all see what we got first games.
How's your relationship with your brother developed and maybe strengthened since him seeing you come here and then joining you to UCLA?
It's been big, man. My little brother was a bonus for me. For him to come home with me, and just being a helping hand to him in anything he needs, I think was the biggest thing for me. I've always been there for my little brother, but when I went away for school, I think I took I'm not gonna say it took a toll on him, but probably on his development, just not having me there to help him out. He went through his junior, senior year by himself. So, but yeah, man, I'm excited, for the quarterback that he is today, and he's came a long way.
In what ways has he learned from you? What does he tell you he's taken from you?
Yeah, I think just him watching me, him watching and how I operate, I think has been his main thing. Just him, trying to simulate things I do sometimes, and I still take stuff from his game as well. I think we're two different quarterbacks as far as our gameplay. So I try and take little things from him, and I try and give as much as I can to him too.
Nico, you mentioned asking you about NIL issues and things like that. Given what you've been through in the last few months, do you pay any any attention to like the big picture college football scene? Because there's a lot of stuff happening.
What do you mean by the big picture college football?
Like the money stuff and NIL rules and there's all kinds of Congress is coming in, transfer portal.
I don't pay any mind to that at all. No, I'm focused on football and getting my education and trying to get my degree. So that's been my main focus. Like I said, I let my business team handle any NIL stuff, and I go to work and try and compete on the field and in the classroom.
Is the field kind of do you like college football? Some of the things you've been through in the last few months, do you sort of look forward to the next level or everything?
No, I love college football, man. Everything that goes on with my name, that's not going to change my love for the game. I love playing football at this level. And obviously everybody has to move on. So obviously I'm excited, for what, is next for me. But, I'm where my feet is, and right now I'm a UCLA football player, and I'm excited to go represent them.
So you mentioned that if everything goes according to plan, it could be 1 year at UCLA, and then you move on and chase the pro dream. Do you think that with all the headlines and stuff that did come out, will that influence what the NFL thinks of you or what teams think of you, whether that stuff was true or not?
Yeah, me personally, I don't know. I can only speak for my game and how I am off the field, how I am as a person. I know I'm a great person. I know what I bring to the table. My thing is to go out there and perform on the football field is the main thing. So keeping the main thing is what it is for me.
My coach, Mike Loxley, was talking this week about he thought that he lost his locker room last year in part due to maybe some NIL jealousy and stuff like that. I'm just curious from a player's perspective, what have you seen or heard about how money and what the guys make?
Yeah, from the locker rooms I've been a part of, everybody wants to see each other, win, and I have nothing, but respect for guys that are trying to go out there and get theirs. If they rightfully so deserve that, that's theirs. But like I said, there hasn't been too many situations in the locker rooms I've been in, especially at UCLA. Man, we're all about ball and trying to go get wins this year.
You said the finances weren't kind of at the heart of why you made this move. Can you talk about, your NIL package at UCLA, was it competitive compared to what you had at Tennessee? Did you have to take a big pay cut? How would you kind of compare those?
Yeah, like I said again, man, I don't really speak on NIL. That's for my business team and, my agents to handle. And my main thing is focusing on football, man. I focus on football and what I got to do in the classroom.
Do you think all of this kind of politics and rumors behind your move is kind of overshadowing what you're trying to do on the field? And how do you kind of feel about that?
Maybe. That's for you guys to decide. Like I said, I don't really care, for what the outside world has to say. I know that I'm focused on my guys and my guys in the locker room and getting them prepared, for this run that we're going to go on in this season.
You've seen what a college football playoff team looks like because you were part of one last year. You mentioned that coming to UCLA, you wanted to be part of what Deshaun Foster was building. From what you've seen, I know you haven't been out there with the guys yet, really, but do you think, what's a realistic expectation for this team relative to what you know it takes to get to the playoff?
Yeah, a realistic expectation for us is to bring championships back to Westwood. And, first day I stepped in the locker room, I felt that from every guy in there, that they got a chip on their shoulder and that they want to go out there and prove people wrong. And, my main message to them was to prove ourselves and, our coach's goals, right, that, we can accomplish this, as long as we believe in one another. So.
You talked about the alumni connection at UCLA and just how expansive that is. Are there any alums that you've spoken to since being here that you've kind of leaned on for advice?
Leaning on for advice, I wouldn't say. I think just saying what's up and them letting me know if I have anything to ask or anything I need from them that they're there. So definitely guys like Mercedes Lewis had tapped in with me. Eric Kendricks, I seen him train a lot up there. And there's a couple guys that I've gotten helping hands from. So I'm excited to be a part of it.